So this is where we're going to start to actually dig into the closing techniques that you can use for making more sales and getting people to say yes to you. These closing techniques are going to be able to get you more yeses, get you what you want, get more of what you want, and to understand why you're doing it so you can repeat it in future. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and if you want to subscribe, that would be fantastic. Let's get into this. Hi guys, thanks for coming to my channel. This is where we're going to be looking at audiobooks and how we can improve what we can do and what we can learn from some of the best audiobooks in the world. And I want to let you in on a little secret. If you're not a fast reader, I'm not either. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be conquering that with audiobooks. We can listen to the audiobooks. I'll show you how, and if you have any questions, let me know. So let's get into this. I look forward to going on this journey with you. So the first closing technique that we're going to talk about today is about getting appointments on the telephone. Now, the reason that this is key, that this is great, that this is something that we could implement is because I've literally used these techniques in my career so far. So this is how to get people to say yes on the phone, not to buying the product, but agreeing to book some time in the diary so that you can speak to them and you get the opportunity to sell. The first step is to get that appointment. Now, he starts off by saying, if you use the telephone to get appointments, you know how difficult and frustrating this can be. Now, I've got first-hand experience of this. The telephone can be a very steep learning curve. People will tell you to go away. People will tell you that they don't care. People will hang up the phone. People will say things that you wouldn't imagine. But it's okay because the telephone is the fastest and quickest way to get people to book meetings with you. And if your job relies on booking meetings, this is vital information. He says the reason many people don't use the telephone is because they've been rejected, they're scared, and they have had terrible experiences of it in the past. Now, this makes a lot of sense to me because I've had terrible experiences. I've also had phenomenal experiences, and the phenomenal experiences outweigh the bad moments. So you need to understand that you will have bad conversations on the phone. You will get rejected, but that's okay because it's about perseverance. And what we're going to be talking about now is how to get over that in a quick, succinct way. Now, if you have been rejected a lot before, then, the very idea of calling someone triggers fears of rejection. It triggers anxiety and frustration. And because of this, people seek every other way to try and get a meeting booked. But the telephone is the finest and fastest way to get your meetings and get somebody to agree to have some time with you. So if you know how to use the telephone properly, you can get good appointments and start to book more meetings. That's number one. He says, when approaching someone on the telephone, your opening line needs to be something that breaks preoccupation. So what you say has to snap them out of whatever they were doing because you are, in effect, interrupting them. And what you say needs to be quick, to the point, and snappy, while also adding value to them. Or it just points to the benefit of what they could get if they were to purchase or buy or do whatever you want them to do. Brian Tracy says that he used to sell sales training programs. So when he used to call people, he used to qualify the prospect in that first line, in that first 10 seconds, by asking this simple question. And he said he found that he could get appointments 9 out of 10 times with this quick, to the point and simple understanding of what his buyers or what the people he was speaking to needed and wanted. So at first he says he'd call up and ask the receptionist, who's the person that deals with this in the company? They say, it's Mr. Smith. You say, okay, well, what's Mr. Smith's first name? They say, it's Dave Smith. You say, okay, could you put me through to Dave Smith? Now, that first bit might not work as well now with gatekeepers. It might do. It's worth trying it out. And with all these techniques, rather than judging, it's best try, see what works, and come up with your own unique take on it. This might not work for you. A version of it might work. So you get the person's name, then you ask to be put through. If you've got that direct person's phone number straight away, fantastic. You don't need to get past the gatekeeper, and you can just go in with your punchy, snappy, one-line question. So you call up the person, you say, hi, Mr. Somebody, it's Joe calling. would you like to see a method with which you could triple or increase your sales by 30%? So you get through to the person that you want to speak to. They answer the phone. Hello. And you say, hi, is that Mr. Jones? You say, yes. Hi, Mr. Jones, it's Joseph. Would you like to see a method by which you could improve your sales by 30% over the next 12 months? So firstly, you call up and you say, who is the person that makes the decisions on this kind of thing in your company? They say, it's this person. You say, okay, great. What's that person's first name? It's this first name. Fantastic. Can you put me through? Now, if you get put through or if you've got the direct phone number, this is the next stage. The guy answers the phone and you say, hi, Mr. Smith, it's Joseph. Would you like to see a method by which you could increase your sales by 30% over the next 12 months? He says, if you're speaking to the right person, your opening question should be aimed at something that is relevant and important to that individual or to that persona or to that job title or to that individual that you're reaching out to. It has to be relevant and interesting and valuable to them, which means you need to know what is valuable and interesting to them, job related. It also has to be something that other person needs or wants. So in this case, it was sales managers. Now, what do sales managers sit around thinking about most of the time? Closing more sales. So this opening line is directly tailored to that persona because he's asking, would you like to see a method by which you could increase your sales by up to 20 to 30% in the next 12 months? So it's being specific with a time frame about something that they care about, and it's helping them understand that if they do this, they could achieve these results. So when you say, would you like to see a system or a method by which you could increase your sales by 20 to 30% in the next 3 months, the next thing your prospect should say is, what is it? Or how can I see that? Or how could I use it? Or, some kind of question, right? So you ask them, would you like to see a way that I can help you achieve your goals in the next 2 months, 3 months, 12 months? They say, what is it? How do I see it? They'll come up with some questions. Okay, well, give me, a quick description of what you want. What do you want? Give me an elevator pitch is another thing that people say sometimes. Now, this is when you go into the close for the appointment, the words that you're going to say to close and get that next appointment sorted. Now, what you need to realize, no matter what you're selling here, when you're calling to schedule an appointment, you're only calling to schedule an appointment. You're not calling to make the sale. You won't make the sale, unfortunately, on the phone call. You'll need to schedule an appointment first, and this is what that call is about. So don't get distracted by trying to pitch and trying to sell the product. The only job here is to book that meeting. He says the biggest mistake that you can start to make is by starting to describe your product, starting to talk about what you do and all that kind of stuff. Because when you go into more detail, the prospect will normally say, no, I don't have time, X, Y, Z, this reason, that reason. And you don't want to go down that road. So don't give yourself too much rope. That's when you say, that is exactly what I want to talk to you about. And all I'll need to do is get 10 minutes of your time. You be the judge. Now, the key phrase here is you be the judge. So you tell them, would you like to see a method that you can increase your sales by 20 to 30% in the next 12 months? The guy says, what is it? Or tell me more, something like that. And you say, that's exactly why I'm calling, because I want to schedule 10 minutes in your diary so I can show you exactly this. If it's not relevant, you can be the judge. You can let me know what you think and you can decide. If the person says, how much is it? Or they try to go into the details, this is where you handle that point. And instead of telling them, how much it is, you just say simply, look, if it's not exactly what you're looking for, there'll be absolutely no charge. Now, this is a really powerful response. You need to get the price issue out of the way immediately. Otherwise, it'll just hang around like a big gorilla or orangutan, as this guy says, in your way. So when they say, how much is it? We don't have any money. You say, look, there is absolutely no cost if it's not exactly what you're looking for. If the person then says, okay, well, just tell me a little bit more about it. You say, that's exactly what I want to do in that 10-minute call. That's when you say, look, I need to show you it in order for you to be able to understand it fully. And you say, that's exactly why I need just 10 minutes, so I can show you exactly what that feature is and what that thing does. Just say, in 10 minutes, I'll be able to show you. Now, the key phrase here is show you, and that negates and stops them asking for you to describe it because you need to show them, which you can do even on a video call. So still very relevant. So say, look, that's exactly why I need 10 minutes of your time so I can show you and you can decide if it's relevant for you or not. Now, one funny thing that he says here is you need to remember that good prospects, people that will buy from you, are always busy. They're never going to say, yes, schedule some time. Poor prospects, terrible prospects that won't buy and that will waste your time will always be available. So if they're not available immediately, that's actually a good sign. If they are available immediately, maybe not the best sign. So the prospect might say, okay, well, just tell me a little bit more about it. And you say, look, I will tell you exactly what it is, but I need to show you. And that's exactly what the purpose of this 10 minutes is. So I can show you exactly what it is and you can decide. Now, if you say, oh, can you just email me something? You say, look, I'd love to email you something, but we really need to have that conversation first. Only 10 minutes and then you'll be able to fully understand the proposition. The reason I don't want to send it is because without the context, I don't think it will add value, and I really want to make sure that this adds value to you and your understanding. Now, if you're local or you have the opportunity to go into the office here and they say, look, can you just send me something? Instead of sending it, you can say, well, I could actually pop into the office. Will you be around this afternoon? Now, in the age of digital technologies, this still works. Now, one clause here that he uses is, oh, I'll be in your neighborhood. So another way, if you're doing physical appointments, he says, if somebody asks you to post it, you can then say, oh, I'll be in the neighborhood around about this time. Why don't I just drop it off? You say, okay, yes, just drop it off. You say, will you be in? Are you going to be available? And you say, yeah, sure. You say, okay, great. I'll see you sometime in the afternoon. Now, I've used this closing technique to fly to many different countries and have meetings with some of the top companies, top supermarkets, top beer brands in Europe, the Netherlands and Denmark. So this works very well. Sometimes if you're also scheduling appointments, rather than asking if they're free or if they're available, you can also say, I'll be in the area on these dates and these dates. Do those work for your diary? A funny part that Brian Tracy mentions is when people ask you to send them information, what they're really saying is, I'm not interested, please go away. He says when you send it to them in the mail or by email, it either gets deleted or thrown in the trash. Now, this made me laugh, but he says if you're going to send things in the mail, you might as well put it in the envelope and put it in your own bin because it'll save you the postage stamp. He says, sometimes we make the mistake of thinking when we mail things, we're actually making sales. He says, but sales are sales, not mailing things. Mailing things aren't sales. Sales is sales. Closing is sales. Booking an appointment is sales. Sending things by email and by post, not sales. So you ask for 10 minutes of the time, and the key phrase here is you be the judge. You decide for yourself if this is what you're looking for. You repeat, all I need is 10 minutes of your time, and you can judge for yourself. This assures the person that you'll only be there for a short period of time and that you're not actually going to try and sell him anything. You're just going to show him what you have or her what you have, and they're going to make the decision if it's relevant or useful to them. He says, if you ask for 10 minutes, you'll be fitted in almost anywhere. However, if you ask for half an hour, you might have to wait for weeks for this. So ask for a shorter period of time, get it done early, and build those pipelines and get those meetings booked. Sometimes the prospect will say, look, why don't you just call me on Monday and we'll set up an appointment? And this is where you can close that point. You can say, look, I've got my diary right in front of me. Do you have your diary handy? Now, everybody has their diary handy all the time, 24/7. So they can literally look in their own diary and you can book it in right there and then. So you say, why don't we set up a time right now? How about 10 o'clock Monday morning? Don't be put off when people say, call me back on Monday. This is just another way that people try and get out of seeing you. So what you can do is you can say, is your diary handy? Yes, great. Why don't we book in a time now that's convenient for you? And you can decide. Some of the very best customers that you'll ever have are the ones that you're going to have to fight to get hold of. He says these are also the people that will buy the most. Imagine that when they try and put you off, when they say, no, I'm not available, XYZ, what they're actually communicating to you is that they might actually be a very good prospect. Somebody's going to get to that prospect and sell them, and it might as well be you. Be persistent, be polite, and be firm. Say, all I need is 10 minutes of your time, and you can be the judge. Just sell 10 minutes. If he asks you for details of your products and services, just say, look, it's too involved to go into on the telephone. I just need 10 minutes and you can be the judge. He says we need to start to become very good on the telephone. And if you can close that telephone appointment, you can then get to first base. Victory! And there is no better feeling than getting past that first couple of objections and booking that first meeting. Now, if you're tense or nervous about using the phone, that's understandable. It's because you've had bad experiences in the past, and that's okay. What we need to do is face that fear. It can be tough, I know, and if you have any stories or any points that you want to mention, comment below. But it's not about avoiding negativity. It's about going through the negativity to find the positive, because it's not really about the negative. It's about the positive, and that's all you'll remember in the end. You'll become more confident as you become more competent. Thanks for checking out my channel. I'll be uploading new videos every single day, so make sure you check them out. And if you're interested in more closing techniques, follow the rest of these videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day. See you soon.